Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for kickoffs and kick-ons.
Count me in, Swoop. Give me a real enthusiastic count in. Go. Hello, welcome to Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, the KOKO Show, proudly brought to you by Guinness, the official beer partner of the British and Irish Tour to Down Under. Because as we like to say here on the show,
it is a lovely game for a Guinness.
Tis a lovely game for a Guinness. Actually, while I'm here, let's do this. We are doing a live show on Friday night at Luna Park. It is an amazing spot there, just at North Sydney. It will be myself, these three lads. The other two we have done are the best live shows ever done in the history of anything.
The energy's been fantastic. The crowd's been amazing, but we want to go out with a bang.
We will. We'll definitely go out with a bang. So
this could be our last live show ever.
There's every chance. www.kickoffsandkickonz.com is the place to get your tickets. Get in now. There's only 5 left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. The other 5 sold very quickly.
But if you have a group larger than 5, we could maybe manage something.
I will accommodate.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Good thinking. Look, British and Irish Lions, they've won the second test match, in case you didn't hear, which means they've won the series. They got it done against the Aussies. 29-26 in the 79th minute of the match. There is a lot to unpack there. A lot. We will do that in the pod. We won't do that first. We'll sort of go through our week down in Melbourne, and then we will get into that game proper. As always, I'm joined by 3 of the all-time great Wallabies. Adam Ashley Cooper, the Swoople double Deagle. Double Geagle. The Bivaroony, the Bivawhack, Drew Mitchell, and of course, Guantanamo Bay, as we like to call him, Matt Giddo. Also joining us today is the great George Gregan.
Wow.
The governor.
Who jagged George? Is that... Actually, that was you, Tommy, wasn't it?
Was
there
it?
You go.
Go away.
Wow.
100 and...
No, did you, Tom?
Tommy, you did.
You snagged it.
Good on you, mate.
Was it you or your dad?
Yes, it was you, Tommy. Well done. Only took you about 300 episodes to do something. So good on you, mate. Fantastic. KOKO Learnings. What did we learn this week? Because we spent a lot of time in Melbourne. You boys in particular. What did you learn? Who would you like to go first? Swoop.
I got nothing for you, honestly. My learnings, I mean, apart from ready for the series to be over.
Yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah.
He didn't come back with too many brain cells, old Swoople.
Oh, okay, that's where it's coming from you, son.
I know. I'm in the same boat.
Don't project onto me, mate.
Yeah, sorry. What I learned, I just learned that a contentious decision can bring out the worst in rugby.
Yes.
Like you see a lot of it. It's unfortunate. People are going to see it through different lenses. There was different bias involved. But I don't know, I just think some of the chat online and all of that is just a little bit too far, and it's not part of the game of the fabric of rugby. You can have your opinion and you can be staunch on it, but I just think some of the language on it, it's given me a bit of an ick over the last few days.
My actual learning was not through a learning of myself, but a learning through someone else's learning. And Drew's learning was don't overpack on a Jetstar flight because they'll sting you right at the death. So when you're weighing in, you go through, you put your bags in, you check in, they go through. It's not right until the departure gate. They don't let you on the plane until...
Yeah, so I'd lined up for 30 minutes at the departure gate to get on because the line was long. Scanned my ticket and they said, Scott, you got to go back to the desk. I said, I've just been fucking lining up. I didn't swear.
Back of the line.
And then had to go and pay. And then for 1.1 kilo extra, it was $80. It's half the price of my ticket.
What do you reckon that 1.1 kilo was? Was there an item in there?
It was probably
sweaty jeans.
It was probably all the classic Wallabies gear because I didn't have it on the way down.
Oh, and
I collected the training gear and the jerseys and it's actually probably Andy Power's wet jersey.
Oh no,
that we swapped.
You swapped. Okay, there you go. Greegs. Before we get into the classic stuff, did you learn anything on the weekend?
Gets.
What did I say?
Greegs.
Yeah, Greegs.
Oh, mate, it's been a rough few days.
Mate, that's a wrap. I'll take it. You call me Greegs or Pod if you want.
Sorry.
My learning. Oh, again, like Swoop, his learning is through someone else. My learning through someone else. We had a classics game. Drew just touched upon. There are a few blokes who got injured So I think my learnings would be maybe in Andy Power's case, don't go too intense in a classics game because he went stupidly intense in his very first carry, got tripped, then his shoulder landed. I think Bowie, who was it? Benzie, was that the one that got him?
Bo Robinson, yeah.
Yeah. He landed square his shoulder on Benzie's knee, fractured AC. Mike Ross, the Irish prop, 10 minutes in, ruptures his Achilles. And the Biverini, which we've all seen, sculling the bear, the choreographed
It was so staged.
into the sculling.
Mate,
It was so staged. You too.
Oh, yeah. I purposely hurt my hamstring in the 14th
That is
minute.
something that you would do, Drew.
and then I just happened to be getting a lamb sandwich and 2 beers on the other side of the
Yeah.
field.
And I also teed up the Legends player from the Lions to pass me the intercept so I can get into some space.
Oh, mate, you got good prep.
And he's
good
also
prep game.
teed up KB because he actually wasn't doing commentary for long.
Yeah.
Like the timing, all that just worked. So maybe my learnings are more Andy Powell and Mike Ross, but Drew's one, we'll let it run. He knew he was going to get injured.
We would have gotten away with it as well if it wasn't for your mum.
Oh, she's on it.
She
She's
got us
detective.
straight away.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
knew.
yeah.
She knew.
I tell you what, if I could put something like that, pull something like that together, wouldn't be doing this.
What did you learn, Jimbo?
That IHG hotels are outstanding, and they came to our rescue. We had a bit of a problem with. It was very busy down in Melbourne,
Yeah,
like
of course.
99% capacity. We had a few issues with our accommodation, and they came to the rescue at the death.
Yeah, and even though you might not have a reservation, they're very accommodating.
They did.
Hotel group.
Because where were you? You were in the kitchen. I was up in the broom closet,
Yeah.
and you where we? Oh,
He's
still
down the
in suite.
hallway again.
Yeah, I was in the suite.
No, they had us down there at Holiday Inn Express in Little Collins Street. An amazing little spot to stay, and we were right in the heart of the whole thing. It was a lot of fun. And then the other thing, Tommy, you and I, we went down to the IHG bar at the Wallaby Paddock, which was at the MCG. It was outstanding. Lots of Wallabies fans, lots of Lions fans having a lot of fun. And it's happening again in Sydney. So make sure you get to the Wallaby Paddock. Tommy, where is that in Sydney? That's out at the ground, isn't it? Yeah, it's out at the ground, out at Olympic Stadium or whatever it's called now. Accor Stadium. So go check out the IHG Wallaby Paddock. We did have a great week down there. There was the classic Wallabies. Then obviously we did the fan zone.
Yeah, that was great.
Friday. People were asking for you, Swoop. Where's the Swoop? They
There
were
was
there
concern, genuine
for you. Yeah,
concern.
is everything okay? And we said, if you've heard anything, let us know.
I was at the Powerhouse Rugby Lunch
Of course you were. You were doing
with
that
Shane
one.
Williams and Sean Holly. It was a good lunch, good day.
And then obviously we did the Saturday morning show for Tab. That was at the Village Bell. Knocked it out of the park again.
Yeah, that was a
You
good one.
gents were great. And then we've obviously got the show coming up at the Coogee this week. Coogee Hotel.
Yeah, you said.
Coogee Hotel that we'll get into a little bit later on. And then obviously, then we did the Lions Den. Then we went to the match.
A
Which
few more in the Lions Den down in Melbourne, wasn't
yeah,
there?
it was about 7,000. It was a bit nerve-wracking, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Surprised that you got them all to buy into Waltzing Matilda. Did pretty well there, Prof.
Yeah, well, we walked on to set the stage. They'd just sung Sweet Caroline twice. They'd whipped them into a Lions feeding frenzy.
But also, sorry, prior to that, Alan Wynne Jones was doing karaoke.
That's right.
Jamie George and Pierre Schumann were doing. So they were really sort of in song type of atmosphere and vibe and mindset. And but we went up there just thinking we're going to get booed here, and we did.
We did.
By
We got
7,000 people.
which is, I don't think we'll have that moment again. But then we managed to get them to sing Waltzing Matilda, which was great. They got right into it, knew all the words. Who'd have known it? And then honestly, the MCG, the atmosphere there, I mean, I've been to a few AFL matches there. I've been to cricket tests, all that. That was next level. It was unbelievable. It was absolutely heaving.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
90,000.
Oh, and just the most intense game. Just pressure and everybody wanting their team to win. Okay, anyway, so the reason I get there, can you tell I'm kind of avoiding chatting about the game? Like, I don't actually, we did
Oh, mate, I'm still depressed.
yeah, well, if you didn't see it, we did our match review.
We did our match review. We keep talking about it. Just
Yeah, and it was a bit
impressed
sad, wasn't it? We kind of sat there in silence for a bit, and then Bailey eventually told us we had to talk on camera. And then we
Are we
did.
getting into it now? And
Yeah, shall we do it? Let's do it. So it's the rugby roundup segment.
Yep.
Lions 29 defeated the Wallabies 26. As I said, we might not get as bogged down on stuff because we already did it. Have a look at our match review for that. We have to say, first and foremost, a much improved Wallabies team. And the way they set out about their work was absolutely brilliant. Gits?
Yep, I agree. I think the inclusion of Bobby V and Willie Skelton added a lot of punch, much needed punch that we needed up front. The breakdown was a lot quicker. Yeah, I mean, it was a much improved performance. Probably the only real downside would be, well, from my point of view, is that last 10 minutes for the halftime break, where we had such a good lead and then we just gave up two relatively easy tries. I think not under a great deal of pressure to actually give those tries up. So yeah, that's probably the one work on would just be completing that full half, and then obviously the second half we didn't manage to get too many points, but yeah, it was an improved performance and very good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the good to great. That's the area there, right? Like, is making sure you maintain that pressure. They put them under an immense amount of pressure. Got a couple of tries when Tommy Freeman was off, put themselves in a good position. But, the great sides go on with that, and it's a much improved performance this week from the Wallabies. But, for them, that next step is to really lock out that game and lock the Lions out. Giddy, you touched on it. The ruck speed was much better. Therefore, Jakey Gordon was getting out. Even though I think the third 3 minutes 30 into it, he got out and sniped, and he got a sniping try. People were having a go at him for not doing it in the first game. A lot of that's because the ball was static. The defensive line was set. When it's not, he's a genuine threat and he's a genuine player. So I think sometimes people with their criticism can be a little bit maybe quick to jump and not understand the reasoning as to why he can't actually bring an element of his game into it and how reliant he is on the forwards in front. Look, I thought there was some real positives out of that game. Obviously, it's gutting. We think we're upset. Like, imagine what those boys going through. Like the series is now lost for them, and it was there for the taking. Now they've got to regroup and go again. I think I might have seen them as I was leaving to come here today. I think they were doing some recovery down at Bondi, just getting in the ocean, just trying to rinse themselves of all of that and start again.
I'm looking at you, Swoop, for comment. Are you ready to comment? Or?
Yeah, I mean, those just, it's a real coach killer when you kind of go on to score points, but then you give up points straight away because you're inefficient with your exit or you're inaccurate with kind of relieving pressure. It just goes to show the class of the Lions team. We scored some back-to-back points at 28, Gordon right at 30, and then they responded pretty well at 34 and 37 minutes. Those points just before the half are crucial, just because it allows you to go in and have a conversation around how you're starting. It gives you a lot of confidence to make sure you're having the right conversations on the first half and going out and implementing, what you speak about at the half early on in the second. But it's what I saw is that the Wallabies are capable of performing, responding, and playing in those big game moments. I think what they'll need to work on is just those little areas, those critical moments where they just need to be more accurate, more consistent.
I mean, the second half, I think we only scored three points in the second half. Like last week, that was a strength of ours, the second half. The boys coming off the bench and having that impact. And then this week, we only scored 3 points in the 40 minutes. Again, just putting two halves together, they're a quality side. The first half the first 20, 30 minutes from the weekend's game and the back half of the first game, not going to be too many teams that'll stick with them and if you're able to put those two together. But at the same time, you've got to tip your hat to the Lions because, they found a way. The second half, I would like to have known, I said it in the post-game show, the review, I would like to know who said what and what they said at halftime because they just came out, they looked composed, they looked measured, and they got the job done.
I'm going to touch on two moments just to get your take. You've now had time to probably watch back the replays. So first of all is the Dan Sheehan try. And we're not whinging. This isn't Australians whinging. This is where it might be. It's just us sort of going through. He dove over the top of the players, making the tackle. I've heard today that is legal if you're diving for a try. Is that right? So we should just discount
you can't dive over the ruck.
Yeah, over the ruck
in
you
the
can't.
attempt to dive for a try.
You can't.
But
it wasn't a ruck because it was off the tap.
So all good there. Move on.
Yeah.
Play on.
Look, it's one of those ones where you're going to have people either side of the equator probably argue it, find a way or find instances in the past, because I know there's been a lot of that. There's a clip of Brodie Retallick getting red carded against Japan. There's this and that, whatever. they're all slightly different in terms of timing and in terms of all these other little things. But the Sheen one, yeah, I mean, I think it's by letter of the law. I think it's fine. It's probably not something you see very often, which is probably why it gets the antlers going.
It worked really well for him. It could have gone very poorly for him, but in that area of the field, 5 out on those quick taps, you see a consistent picture around the first carry, kind of diving deep and getting the cleans over nice and quickly. But also, in terms of the defence mindset, that's a real grass cut opportunity.
Yeah.
Going straight for the shins, obviously with the attempt to use arms and wrap. I think he's just taken a bit of a punt there. He's probably seen some consistent pitches from the Wallabies when they've gone for those quick taps, 5 out, and he's just gone, you know what, I'm going to have a crack at this, and it worked well. So you actually got a tip the hat.
Yeah, I reckon also defensively, we had 2 blokes going low. That was probably a bit of an issue. Like one needed to, as it's going, the first man hits low, the second one kind of wrapped the ball, especially that close near the line. Because if you're able to hold it up and get them back over the line, then we've got a dropout.
Yeah.
So it could have been something we used to our advantage. But you're not to know. As you said, Sweet, the first one, he really just had his head down for a quick clean. And the second time he stayed up. So, that one, as far as whinging about the game, that one I'm happy to let slide.
The Jack Morgan clear out on Carlo Tizzano, where we've a couple of days now. I've now seen it, as everybody has, frame by frame, who got there first, where did he strike him? Was it a flop? All that stuff. Have you come to any conclusions you want to share?
I will ask. I mean, there's been a lot of rule changes and laws brought in for the safety of someone's neck.
Yeah.
When it comes to the croc roll, that's been heavily officiated over the last couple of years. Contact straight to the back of the neck is just as bad, if not worse. So, what's the interpretation there?
Well, I mean, I think that by law, it's anything above the line of the shoulders is deemed a high tackle, dangerous tackle. I don't know. I mean, I think this one it's fine margins. Carlo definitely got there before Jack Morgan. I don't think they can sit there and say the timing was the same, because otherwise, he wouldn't be tackling someone's back.
No, it's also, you can now watch it
frame
by frame, and you can
I mean,
see
they could watch it at the time as well, like, the TMO and all that as well, right? So, I don't know, like, it sucks that it's come down to this, and I just think sometimes you just got to take your leaks, like.
Yeah, they got the call in the end.
It could have been times in the game where it wouldn't have been as big of a decision in terms of the outcome of a game and potentially the series, where maybe that went unnoticed as well. Like, it hurts because obviously, like, we want to, it's like anything. Like, if something hurts you want something to blame, right? Like, and I think maybe that's what we're looking for. Did we get hard done by? Maybe. Is it going to change? No. So I think we just got to rally the boys and really do a job this weekend.
I mean, I disagree with you a little bit there, B, and I'd love to get your take, Prof, as well, from just spectators' point of view. Not that you're not right in there with us in the trenches, but I disagree about the part where it's maybe we're looking for someone to blame. No game do we ever, if you lose, you're just looking for an excuse to say why we got robbed for that game. This one in particular, I said it straight after the game. I think if this was earlier in the game and not such a vital point where it decides a series, not just a game, it's now decided the series. If it was earlier on in the game, it would have been a penalty. I got no doubt. I believe that's just what would have happened. Because it was a pinnacle moment or the moment of the game, they kind of were reluctant to give the penalty. I believe that's just my opinion. Again, this is not sooking. If anyone has pushed for any type of player, I've always wanted Jack Morgan to be in there. I love the Welsh and the Lions, the way they played and clawed their way back. That was smart. You've got to applaud them. But I think that, honestly, my opinion is on that. Just you isolate that action or that breakdown, and I believe it would have been a penalty if it was earlier in the game and not have such a huge impact on the series.
Yeah. My take is, I was thinking about this today. If that was game 6 in an NBA final and there was a call that was 50-50, clearly that call was 50-50 because you look at afterwards, all the debate, nobody knows if it's right. If that's game 6 in an NBA finals and it's 50-50, do you think we'd go to game 7? As in, with the NBA ref, every day of the week we go to game 7.
Yeah.
If it was the NRL and it was the second game of the State of Origin series and there's a call at 50-50 where the ref had to make a decision, where would we go? Decide it every day of the week. So what frustrates me is you had that moment, like quite a pivotal moment for Australian rugby, which has suffered for engagement, where if that ref makes a decision, like the hype this week around a decider for Australian rugby would be fucking epic, like nothing we've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
So he, in that moment, he doesn't see the bigger picture.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think he can make a refereeing decision based on the emotion or the position of Rugby Australia's, like,
what if it's
understanding.
just like 50-50 right down the guts?
No,
there has to be some type of...
I know what you're saying.
Is that what you're saying,
I'm
Prof?
also saying we've got the World Cup here in 2 years, which we in like to fill those stadiums. We're not going to have people from all around the world coming. You need local interest.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm getting heated here, but it fucking shits me because we now work in this, right? And our show, how well our show goes is based on interest in Australian rugby. So he also affected me directly and my mortgage, you prick. Anyway, so my point is, I'm worried that rugby suffers from it sometimes. That Foley penalty, and I still haven't gotten over that one, 2022, when we are up 37-34 against the All Blacks, could have pushed it to a decider, and he penalised him for time wasting.
Yeah.
Fucking see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that's what should have happened on the week. That was my takeaway from it.
Well, one person who didn't miss was, in their summation of it, was Morgan Turinui. Did you hear that in the commentary? I think, Tommy, have you got it here?
You cannot make contact with a player above the shoulder line at a ruck or maul. Now, the referee said there's a dynamic incident, both players arriving. Every ruck, every maul, every action in rugby is a dynamic incident. They got it wrong. If you're a Wallabies fan at home, you should be proud of your Wallabies team. If you're a Lions fan, gee, your team were outstanding coming back. But that decision is 100% completely wrong. The referee got it wrong. His 2 assistant referees got it wrong. The TMO got it wrong. Joel Juch, the head of the referees, is out here on a junket. He needs to haul those referees in and ask for a please explain. If I'm the World Rugby Board that are here, if I'm Dan Herbert, the chair of Australian Rugby, if I'm Phil Waugh, the CEO of Australian Rugby, I'm asking for a please explain. He did have a good game, but the refereeing group, when it counted, got the match-defining decision completely wrong. It's a point of law. It's in black and white. It's not about bias. It's not about colouring. There's nothing there to get away from the fact that it's a wrong call.
I think there was also a moment where he said they were too weak to make the decision.
Oh, well,
I may be paraphrasing there, but I mean, it was. Like, if there's one thing that Morgs is on top of, it's the laws of the game. Like maybe sometimes when I was doing commentary, there's a bit of grey area in my mind in terms of like understanding the letter of the law. Morgs is across all that sort of stuff. So when he's sitting there saying it like that, matter of fact like that, it's hard to argue. But geez, I've been thinking about that a little bit in the last sort of day or so, whether he's had a tap on the shoulder or someone's had a word to him about that.
Very interesting.
Well, you look at the 2 coaches, and this is where you're going to get massive debate. I don't think we'll ever get an answer or an outcome. We can only have our opinion. But Andy Farrell said he thought it was a fantastic, great, clean out. And Schmitty obviously saw some issues with it. So I just reckon that's where it's going to end.
Yeah, I think we are whinging, technically. Are we?
Well, we're not. You ask the question, and that's our opinion.
Yes,
we're not
okay,
right or
good.
wrong.
So-
it's just our opinion.
So we're not like the Poms when Johnny Bairstow got run out. We're not like that.
Well, no,
No.
I think that's the other thing about the social media stuff I was saying. Like, people can have an opinion that differs to yours, and it doesn't mean it's a whinge.
No.
It's just an opinion.
No, and as you said, the Lions came from 23-5 down.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. So we are kind of pinpointing one
So
point.
you know what we have to do?
Yeah.
Tip the hat.
Tip
to
the hat.
Lions.
And I'll be telling you where you can buy these hats very soon. We've chatted, I think, enough about that moment. Let's talk some Guinness Perfect Pour. As you know, the Perfect Pour, it's a moment worth savouring. When you nailed that pour, goodness me. So I want you boys to give me the moment worth savouring from the weekend's match between the British and Irish Lions and the mighty Wallabies.
Yeah, I'll go first. My perfect pour goes to a moment, but also a couple of players that, didn't get too many opportunities in the first game, but, combined together really nicely. It was a little from inside their own half. Little break from Joseph Akuso Suali'i off the left, getting through, then linking up with Tommy Wright, putting him away. It was just like, it was great footy. It was eyes up footy. He found a mismatch and got himself through the line, and then great support play from Tommy Wright to finish it off. But it also just sort of shows like the difference between the 2 weeks, like, firing shots and having them stretched and under pressure in defence and then taking those opportunities. And I just thought that was a moment there that, two great athletes and two great players, we're seeing what they're capable of, and we didn't see it enough in the first game, but, we're privileged to see it in the second game. So my perfect pour goes to those boys.
Gits, perfect pour?
Yeah, well, just waiting on the Guinness I've just poured it, and it will be a perfect pour, but it's just taking a while to settle. My perfect pour would be Will Skelton. I thought the inclusion of him, everyone was talking about it, and there's a lot of build-up. Everyone was expecting huge things from Bobby Valentini and Will Skelton, but I thought they both delivered. But Will in particular, like, he was out there for 50 minutes. He was abrasive. He was pushing. He was confrontational. Every carry he got. He's even just smart. Like, he's a big boy, but he gets in between players even when he carries. So they just no one really gets any dominance on him. I just feel you just look at players when you have someone like a Skelton or Valentini in your side, and just the confidence that they gave everyone else and the way everyone else kind of followed suit. Not that they didn't have a crack in the first test, but I just thought this second one, he was a real leader there and everyone followed. So Willie Skelton, Bobby Valentini, sorry, you might get it next time, but this one's for Willie.
Yeah, just on that, Giddy, I think you're right there when you say he's a leader, but I feel like he was like the emotional, the spiritual leader of that group. Like just the way he was standing up for players and getting under the skin and grabbed Ty Furlong, and then Itoje doesn't look like he's perturbed in any of those little scraps or scuffles. He just knows he's just like the biggest kid in the yard, But I think you're right. Like the other players really fed off that. And gave them sort of that confidence and maybe, in a healthy amount of arrogance as well, because they knew someone like him was going there and leading the charge on that front.
Swoop.
Well, half of my pour I'll give to the attendance of the MCG, over 90,000. I thought it provided another incredible atmosphere, like Suncorp. I haven't been to the G in a while, and it brought back memories of, the 2013 series, the 2007 Bledisloe, when I had the opportunity to play on that deck. But incredible stadium, absolutely incredible stadium. And just that, sport is certainly alive down there, and there is a good following for rugby, not just throughout for the international games, but, Victorian community rugby. So that was really good to be a part of. And the top half of the poll, I'll have to give to the Lions. Congratulations. They took out the series. We said it all along throughout all our episodes, all our pods, all our shows, covering this series, that they were an incredible team. And to come back from behind, it was an absolute class performance. So tip of the hat, and half the pour, Guinness pour to you, Lions boys. See you in game 3, you pricks.
We've given a few hat tips, haven't we?
Yeah.
Mate, anything can happen, Gits.
Mate, I've heard that before. That was genius.
Yeah, it was.
Anything can happen.
Wasn't that a gem? And he was right, because anything did happen.
Yeah, that's right. He's been right all along.
Anything can happen, and then something happens.
I'm going to give my perfect pour. I don't remember if I meant to do one. I can't remember, Tommy. To the British and Irish Lions fans.
Yeah.
So they have been so good to us. They're so polite. It's very frustrating. They're very nice.
It is, isn't it?
There was two Welsh blokes sitting in front of us, and we were shouting and, just giving it to each other. And then they won in the 80th minute, and they turned around and shook our hands and said, "Good game. That was a good game." I was like, just tell us to fuck off, please.
Or to fuck up.
Yeah, that was so polite and lovely. Drives me nuts. Hey, our very special guest. Oh, just a reminder before I get into this, Guinness live show Friday at Luna Park. Get your tickets on our website. That's the Guinness Perfect Pour. God, we love having Guinness on board, don't we? So good. Hey, our very special guest has joined us. There he is.
Oh, here he is.
Getting a tea.
Having a tea.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
How are you, Greegs?
How are you?
Greegs.
Drew, AAC, and the great
Coffee.
man.
We've
There
got
he
Gits
is,
here somewhere.
the professor. Look at him. Here he is.
How are you, mate? All right, I think I'm getting the thumbs up here from Bale. We are good to go this week. Oh, there's a little intro here, Greegs, that Tommy Erskine writes, who you know well. So if you're not happy with it,
Hamilton.
go direct
Perfect.
Tommy. This week on the KOKO Show, we are joined by one of the true legends of Australian rugby. This bloke has played for the Wallabies a whopping 139 times, winning a World Cup, 2 Tri-Nations and 6 Bledisloe Cups. I think it is fair to say this guy knows what it means to win at the highest level. Okay, Tommy, we see what's happening here, mate.
He also left out the British and Irish Lions tour.
Normally he has a crack at people, Greegs, but he's really...
Hang on, there might be a bit of
Okay.
a plot twist.
Wait, here
Keep
we go.
going, Prof.
There could be some sauce.
This man played in the golden era for Australian rugby, and he led the way with his tenacious play style, natural flair, and an attitude that screamed, "I'm so much fucking better than you." So please welcome our little Captain Courageous, and now definitely the most handsome bald man that has been on our show. This is the man that gets to sleep, piss, and not wake up in the process. It is, of course, the one and only Mr. George Gregan.
Welcome. Thank you, everyone. That's a very warm and generous welcome, especially with the backing in and making sure you turn the light off.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
No
timeless.
flush, seat down.
Giddy's had a fair bit of run out of that story, Greeks.
Well, it's a timeless bit of advice, isn't it? It was passed on to me as well.
Oh, really?
Don't
really?
That sleep.
Oh, let's get to the bottom of that. Who passed it on to you?
I think I had a bit of a chat with Wisey about this, and we spoke about it, and we worked out between that and not waking up your roommate. That was the best option, and really helped.
That's Scotty
Particularly
Wise,
Wisey.
man.
This is around 1996. It's probably our first talk. There's a lot of rugby just gone professional. You're rooming a lot. You don't want to be turning the lights, and there's all sorts of stuff. But we came up with a very good solution.
So to
Timeless.
reset the story, Greeks told. What do you want to tell us? What Greeks told you? I can't remember how long ago we told this story. So just reset it.
Yeah, so Greegs basically just said, roomie etiquette. Like, I didn't know anything. And early on, I get put with Greegs. And, well, actually, I had Wendell very early on, but he was ordinary. But I got Greegs, and then he was just teaching me about, obviously, your phone's off. You don't turn the light on to go to the toilet. You don't piss in the middle of the bowl. But Greegs also took it further that look where the toilet is. When the lights are off, you then need to know how you're going to get to the toilet. You get to the toilet, you sit down, then you tilt to the side because you don't want to hit the water. You've got to hit the porcelain. Then you get up, walk backwards, and you've got your eyes shut, and you lie back into bed. It keeps you asleep.
That's bang on. That's it. Mr. Miyagi, pass it on to the karate kid. He's still got it. Wax on, wax off.
Greeks, you laughed there when Git said he tilts it to the side because yours was just underwater.
Oh, the myth continues. The myth continues.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you think of the game, Greg?
That's a nice little sort of prelude to the game. Let's talk footy now. It was an amazing effort, wasn't it? It was 23-5, 30-plus minutes into it, and you just felt like if we scored again, I think the Lions probably would have put the cue in the rack and started thinking about Sydney. But the quality of that team, they scored back-to-back tries, and then all of a sudden the Wallabies go in halftime with a 6-point lead. And the way the game was being played in that first half, it should have been a lot more. But as we know, when you play good teams or quality teams, you just can't give them an inch. And they came back and they got us right in the last minute. But that first 30-plus minutes was just like perfect rugby from my perspective.
Yeah.
They turned up with intent, attitude, and with a real zest to play and play in the right parts of the field. Huge efforts in that first stanza from Rob, Valentini, obviously Big Willie Skelton in that forward pack, and everyone, to be fair. But hats off to the Lions sewing it up in Melbourne. But it was there for the Wallabies to really, I guess, put away in that first half.
Now, Griggs, you're our captain at certain times, and we've been had the privilege of having your halftime talks, but also post game. Like, what would you have said if you were the captain at halftime? You know, having leaked those 2 late tries going into halftime, but then also maybe like after the game, how to rally them to get up for next week.
Yeah, well, I think at halftime, I think it pretty much said it then. Like the Wallabies were playing the best football, playing best rugby. They were creating momentum, creating pressure, making the Lions uncomfortable, forcing them into errors. So the way they played in that first 30-odd minutes was incredible. And so there's just more of that. And you just can't afford to lapse. It's big match experience, big match execution, small detail. Just get back to that, which they did really well in that first 30. So just get back to those things because there's a reason they were up 23-5 or whatever it was. And that was why. So go back onto those things and start afresh. And then post-game, it's just everyone's gutted. We've all been in those change rooms where you put everything in and you just come up short. And we've been the flip side where you take it in the last minute, which the Wallabies did at Twickenham. It wasn't the Lions, obviously, but they got England at Twickenham, and England probably thought they'd won it. And Iki Tau, by its little thing, Maxi Jorgensen scores in the try. We win from a deep in their half in the 82nd minute. So you've just got to give yourself a chance to compete again next week. As gutting as it is to lose a series, you want to improve on what you did in that second test, which was a vast improvement from the first test, and finish well. And if you get a chance to put them away in Sydney, because there's a lot more test matches to play this year. Yes, the Lions series is gone, but this is another step in. I think there's 15 tests this year. So, get back into playing some really good test match rugby together and winning those big moments, because that's what test match rugby is all about, isn't it?
Greegs, you're a part of one of Australia's best ever 9-10 combos, you and Larkham. Obviously, Gordon and Lynagh they came into, I guess, the microscope post the first match. How do you think they went in this second one?
Well, they played really well together as a combination, individually and collectively. But I think someone asked me this last week. It's a bit of a different game when you're going 1.5 meters over the advantage line, going forward, making decisions with another second or a half second, and the defence can't get themselves fixed and they're under pressure. All of a sudden, Jake shows what he's been able to do throughout his whole career, his running game. He arcs, accelerates, he's in between two props, looks like a training try. It's such a difference. Tom looked really calm. He looked very composed in both test matches, but again, off the front foot, playing some good ball on top of them, shifting, making good early decisions. They looked really, really good. And that's off the back of a good platform, which hopefully they can receive more of this coming week and the future test matches. But I liked what I saw, and I liked the progression. And obviously the injury to Harry Potter was, like, when you go 6'2", you don't want to have a back getting injured early. And I thought Tate McDermott, and you can speak on his behalf, Drew and AAC, you've been on that back three on the edge. You did pretty well for a halfback. That's the last place I would have wanted to be in a test match. It's on the edge.
Profi, Big Jimbo, you touched on Greegs and Bernie, the 9-10 legends. You know Bernie's agreed to play in the Classics this Thursday, so can we see a reunion? You a chance?
No chance. Mate, you got to put it. Why? Because in Sniper's Alley, I saw one of those props. Who's the prop for? He went back, went forward. He snapped Achilles. He's going back to Ireland. Big fella. He's going back to Ireland with a snapped Achilles. That's 9 to 12 months of rehab.
Well, he's just thinking about Ireland just yet, Greeks. He's got to wait, have his surgery here, then go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And then he can just get himself in that ski boot, watch his calf turn into a chicken leg, and get his EMS out, start rehab.
The old moon.
And it's not your career anymore.
So is that a no?
It's a hard no. It's a hard no. The last game I played, like these types of games, was pretty much about 3 weeks after I'd finished playing in Suntory. Played with Marshy, played with Tusi Pisi, Irene Ie. We played the 10s in Hong Kong before the 7s. So we're a pretty handy team. We weren't trying to get to the final, but the quality of those players, we ended up in the final. We were playing against the likes of, I'm not sure if it was, but like a young Rika Yawani, Akira. These guys were part of the 7s program. They're 18, 19 years of age. They're stepping, they're running on. Like, we're going, what the hell are we doing out here? We're getting counter-rucked, hit like not 2 seconds late, like 3 to 4 seconds late. You're having a counter-ruck, you bark off your elbow, there's fights going on. I'm thinking, really? Is this meant to be the social fun game? I said, I'm done. I've actually tapped out. So that's it. That was it.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame.
It feels like the door's slightly ajar there.
Yeah. There's no chance. It's been slammed hard.
Morgan Tiranui on
double bolted
on the stand coverage asked Sonny Bill Williams if he'd put on the gold because his mum's Australian, and then he said, if you do it, Morgan, I will. So
he won't do it.
No, but we could have seen Greegs, Larkham, Giddo, AAC, Sonny Bill Williams, Morgan Tiranui. Would we see Drew Mitchell in that group? Or
if you do it, I'll do it.
No, hell no.
Is that looked like it was a high hamstring strain there, Drew?
Yeah,
what was it?
Well, it's in the belly.
High.
It's in the belly of it. So yeah,
that's not where you want it. You either want it high or low, right?
Well, because Greeks, I tore both of them 4 weeks ago, and they were low down the hemi behind the knee. So I kind of knew it was going to happen stupidly, but I still went out there and then it.
But why did you go top pace? Why did you like? We just that's the problem.
I was saying to myself the whole time, if I get in space, kick it and just let it roll or whatever. But I just saw Ben Gollings. I was like, I could have him, and then slightly got around him, but then just Hemi pulled me up.
That little 200-meter curve puts a little bit more stress on it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
Oh, well.
cowabunga. But you know what you did? You didn't go into touch. You kept the ball in. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, got to keep it alive.
There's no turnover there, mate. I loved it. It was awesome.
Well, I remember early in my career, I'd go into touch and I'd just get absolutely, torn strips off, and rightfully so. Greegs tore me a new one time, and he said, mate, as a winger, you just never go into touch. Like, you just get off your left or your right, whatever wing you're on. And that was just something that resonated with me my entire career. Is just wingers should, unless maybe the only time you said maybe is in the act of scoring. If you're a chance of scoring, but otherwise there's no reason for you going to touch. So always get off that outside foot.
But also, if he didn't say anything, you would still feel his eyes.
Yeah.
No, Greaves is there, and I need to look there to see like what's happening with the ball, but I don't want to see Greaves. So I like pretend I'm talking to a 13-year-old winger because he just had like those eyes. You just know, okay, yeah, I fucked up here.
We all had those, mate. Don't worry about that. We all got that. Not that I'm putting any like defense on that. Like I was, like that was the standard. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you're better. It was like I'm better than that. Like you want to hear that all the time, do you? Better than that. It's kind of, come on, let's go.
I knew I'd done wrong. Like this is, you don't need defending, but I just didn't want to see those eyes.
Yeah.
So, what's it called?
Gregos. I'd love to just kind of rewind a little bit, go back to the game and tap into a bit of IP. I'm sure you've had a big influence on all three of us. What I'd like to ask is that you went through an era, quite a successful era of rugby, where you were heavily involved. Once you retired, you saw the challenges of Australian rugby, where I guess the All Blacks kind of dominated the scene. Do you see a new era? I mean, the resurgence of Australian rugby at the moment. What's your observation and vision on that too? What's their biggest growth opportunity that you see from a leader? Because the one thing I learned from you when I was playing with you, because you saw a lot of success, and I think the reason why you consistently saw success was you had this ability to really dial in when you're up. So you just spoke about earlier before the Wallabies where back-to-back tries and then they gave up points really easily. I would have thought that if you're in that position, scoring back-to-back points, that's where you go, you dial right in and, really turn the sword. I remember you always referring to turning the sword. You went to a new level when you were up. Do you see maybe a little lack of that, or it's hard to comment?
Well, no, I don't think. The thing is, everyone talks about that successful period that I was involved. There's a period before that which was very dark, like 95, 96. I first got into Wallabies and it was like a championship team that won World Cups, had won in South Africa, away from South Africa, or at home rather, coming from the first Test match down, beating France. They'd beaten everyone, the All Blacks. It was an incredible team, so you just had to really get in there and do your job. And I'd get a bollocking and get all those sort of eyes from like World Cup winning players if you didn't do your job. And part of it was being more vocal as a scrum half. And if I was too quiet, believe this or not, I'll be getting in trouble from Kearnsey and others for not talking enough and telling them what to do. So all that piece, and then you go into a 95 World Cup, we were heavily favoured to win. We get beaten by South Africa in the first Test match of the tournament in Cape Town, and then we get knocked out in that quarterfinal as we're going to be back to back, and then it all falls out. Lots of retirements. 96 rugby goes professional, so 96, 97 we weren't performing that well. We were getting beaten consistently by a very good All Blacks team with Fitzpatrick, Zinni, like Bunsey, Walter, like young Tane Randall, Marshy, Cully. You had Andrew Mertens, Tana. Like you had the next evolution of the players. So we turned the corner of that group, which is talk about this winning Wallaby team. We only turned the corner in 1998. We beat the All Blacks that year 3-0, which was massive. And we won by beating them in Christchurch, as we know it's hard to win in New Zealand. And off the back of that, we still lost to South Africa in the deciding Tri-Nations that year. So we weren't winning everything. And South Africa were probably the benchmark. And it wasn't until the 99 World Cup where we got to that pointy end, and that group, through that shared experience of good, bad and ugly, really dialed in. And we had some wonderful players. You look back and historically now, these are great names. But all that group went through some tough times. And it's a shared experience, good, bad and ugly. But the more you have those good winning experiences, you can dial back into them. Like you've got that memory bank of this is how we do it. And you also have the flip side of that, which is if you've got a chance to smash a team, don't give them a chance. Like that's my piece. Like if you give these quality players a chance to come back, they will come back. We're competitive sports people. It doesn't matter what you're playing. So if you get a chance to put them away, it's like if you're playing tennis, if you got a chance to beat them in straight sets, beat them in straight sets. Otherwise, more than likely you'll be playing 5. But they come back. So that's a learned experience, but it doesn't happen. You've got to work really hard together, and it's the small stuff which matters. And then identifying that, then being able to regroup, absorb a bit of pressure, sort of bend, don't break, and then go again. That's kind of what is ahead of the Wallabies. And there's always quality players. You know that. They've all been in Wallaby teams. There's always quality players in that Wallaby setup. Some good coaching, and it's just getting over the line of those experiences. Like if you win one of those, you're there. Like World Cups are hard to win. You don't win a World Cup until you get to a final. Unfortunately, there's only one winner. But to get there, you need a bit of luck. But that comes through the hard work, but also comes through in saying winning those big moments. So I think that's what's ahead for this Wallaby team, because there's so much good quality players in there, some good young players coming through, some good experienced players, very well coached. But yeah, big moments come. Yeah, it's time to win them. And I think this group can do this over this next period of time.
Greegs, in our post-match show on Saturday night, Swoop, you were saying that this has got to be one of the best Lions teams to ever tour Australia. You beat them in 2001. Do you think Swoop's right that this particular team they've put together is one of the all-time great Lions sides?
Yeah, well, it's got some depth, hasn't it? Particularly in the back row. I don't think they ever really pick a bad Lions team. It's like when you hear All Blacks saying, "Oh, that was a bad All Blacks team." Really, I don't really think so. Like they're picking the best players from Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and obviously England. And there's only a couple of Welsh guys, and obviously Thomas Williams got injured, but Jack Morgan, some player, he can't even get into the starting 15. He was on the 23, and there's others. We've heard a lot about Pollock. He's going to be the next sort of superstar. He reminds me in many ways of different but similar, like coming onto the scene and having big match experience and temperament, like a Georgie Smith. You know, he's going to be a special player, but they can't make that starting 22, 23. But you know what, like I always find this hard to compare eras or teams. The one we played in 2001, nearly half that squad went on 2 years later to win a World Cup and beat us. They were played for England. So they were a pretty handy Lions team too. Like, and the 2013 was a pretty like this. I don't think they tour with bad Lions teams, but it's really well balanced. They've had injuries, and they have to call people in, and the people they've called in haven't reduced the strength of the squad. They've added to it in many ways. So, yeah, I think it's a bloody strong Lions squad, and there's a lot of players who could have been starting on the weekend or in that 23 who weren't. So that shows you a lot about the quality of that squad that Andy Farrell and his coaches have had to choose from.
Now, Gregs, the weekend it came down to that final play, that final decision. But interestingly, we saw Harry Wilson go to the ref and just plead with him to go and have a look at it, and then Atoje telling him to basically beat it. If you were the skipper in that position, what would you have done in terms of like going up and asking the ref to at least have a look at it, and then Maro trying to shoo you away?
Well, he's in his right to do that. Like, he's got every right to do that. And I think Maro, as a captain's got every right to sort of say, leave it to the referees. There's a bit of like this push and shove and that. Everyone's trying to get the rub of the green. Like, I remember when John Smith in 2004, I think we played them in Perth. I'm not sure. Giddy may have played it. You boys were just, Swoop was the next year having a pie, and then he came in.
Yeah,
and
then the tour that year.
And you were in that. You would have been part of that
2004 tour. I was my first tour.
Yeah, so we played them in at Subi, and we went up and we were sort of querying the referee. And then John Smith had John Smith's big slice. He's a big piece of flesh, and he goes up to the ref. And a bit like Maro and Jono and those guys, they kind of use their presence in the way. I'm obviously not the same size and height of those guys. And he'd go there and just saying, "Oh, ref, you just must check this." And I can remember going up to the flip side with Maro. I said to Smitty, you're not wearing, like, it was the TNT uniform. You don't have the whistle. You're not the referee. You're the captain. So just let him referee. And then he didn't like that. He told me probably in a nice way to go forth and multiply. And and it was kind of that. And the referee had a smirk on his face. But I get it. Like, that's that sort of theatre. But also, you know what? Leave it to the referee, leave it to the officials, because everyone wants everyone wants the decision to go their way. Murray wanted to go his way, and obviously Harry wanted to have it checked out to see if there was something. There was something there. They made a decision. You know, we could argue blue in the face, was it or wasn't it? But it was the decision in the end. And ultimately, I think that test match, if you're talking about just that decision, we know when you lose a match in the last period of time, you had chances to win prior to that. But no, I reckon I don't mind that. I don't mind it. And that wasn't a disrespectful challenge, but there's a bit of banter between them. Play on.
Who would you say, Greeks, out of all your time, who was the greatest captain that you were captained by? Like, as in, what did you learn most, or who would that have been?
Yeah, I learned a lot from, obviously, Ealesy. So I was vice captain with Ealesy from 1997 till he retired. So we did a lot together in terms of meetings, preparing, listening, you know, and a huge amount of respect for each other as players and as people and as human beings. But with Ealesy, I could give you a good example of Ealesy. I reference that 1998 time we sort of turned that corner with that group. And we were playing, we'd lost that deciding match in the Tri-Nations in Johannesburg to the Springboks, to Rassi and those guys. And I think they went on about a 16-game winning streak. They were a bloody good team. They got beaten just before the 99 World Cup by Wales, but up until then had been defeated for nearly 2 years. Anyway, we had to get on a plane from Joburg. We've done this before. Go to Sydney, lick our wounds, recover quick, and then, surprise, surprise, play the All Blacks, who we're just beaten in 2 prior tests, and they don't want to get beaten 3-0. So they start really well in this match. I remember it. And then sort of near half time, and where I think the modern game, you get kicked to the corner, I was probably more that way. I was thinking, if you're a little bit behind and we're a bit on an angle, like let's kick to the corner, let's back our line out. We had a good attacking line out, Ealesy, etc. Good players. And Ealesy asked me the question. I was vice captain. He comes to me often, not all the time, but he comes to me on these sort of decisions. So what do you think, Greegs? Do you think we go to the corner or go for points? I said, you know me, Ealesy. I said, I think we go for the corner. We get ourselves one score closer and go into halftime really close. He said, yep, agree. So you reckon? I think I can get us 3 points closer and then we'll go to halftime. I said, if that's what you think and you're the goal kicker, go for it. And he knocked this thing over from on an angle, 45, a big lock. This is a lock to this, and he knocked it over. I still remember it. And he did. 3 points. We ended up scoring near the end of that game to win it. It was a close test match. But that was great leadership. Asking, what do you think? Absorbing it, reflecting, then making the decision himself. And he was the captain, but he was also the kicker. So fair play to him. So I learned a lot from Ealesy.
Did he ever get angry? I just want to look so calm, always.
Oh, he had the Ealesy sort of Italian death eyes. Maybe let's call him a mafioso, like kind of look. He's sort of, but he was like a lot of good locks. Murray did it. I think Frosty did it well on the weekend. That if you're a leader and you're running the line out, like the greatest, well, I think possibly the greatest is Victor Matfield on that. They backed themselves. So that's what I liked about it. But again, yeah, he was like everyone. Oh, he's gentle. He was a competitive bastard, Ealesy. Like, and he liked to win. He came from the Reds, who were a winning team, and he liked to do his part. And if part of that was kicking goals when, like, if he needed to, he wasn't the starting kicker, but he could finish the game, and he could do that. Or if our kicker wasn't feeling the mojo, he'd step up. And give you an example of like how serious and how well prepared he was. He'd do his goal kicking after doing, say it was a Wednesday, it was maybe test day or battle day for the forwards where they're doing scrums, they're doing contested lineouts. He'd go straight from that whilst his heart rate's up and he's fatigued to goal kicking. So practice, everyone's doing breath work and everyone knows the importance of it. He'd do his breath work, get himself ready and do only about half a dozen kicks, but after doing that under the gun, and if he wasn't 6 from 6 on those, he was minimally 5 from 6. He just had such a great routine. So he knew in big games under pressure, which is what he'd be doing, he could take the breath and knock that kick over. So yeah, he wasn't a bad bloke to have in your pack of cards, that's for sure.
Yeah. So Greegs, obviously Ealesy, he coached, he captained you, but then you captained these 3 boys. Just wondering who was the best listener. Did they learn stuff from you, or was it a bit tough?
You know, when people ask me this, as a captain, it's best to ask the players who were captained by me, because I was, and they can speak on their behalf. I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but we all started our Wallaby careers as young men. I was 21 when I came into the Wallabies, and you'd have like your Jason Littles, your Tim Horons, you have your Dave Wilsons, etc. Put their arm around you and say, "You're welcome. Be part of the family, and feel free to speak up. We'll absorb it." There was none of this like you can't talk, like you're not involved, like because that's naturally what you think when you're the young person coming in. So I wanted that input because that keeps you, for me as a leader and as captain of that team, that, and I use the word pulse rate, that keeps you understanding the pulse rate of the team. They might want to talk to you for whatever reason. They think it's their thighs or you're the captain or whatever. They just hold you. Gee, I'm in the change room with these people. But we had that spread where we had other leaders. They could talk to Georgia. They could talk to other people within the team who could relay that message. But you always wanted them to be part of it. So I'd hope they learned some stuff, and I hope they felt welcome when they came into the Wallaby environment.
Gents, is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you're always able to talk to them, but there's also sometimes, like these guys are guys that you look up to, and you feel like maybe, you haven't earned the right yet or whatever. And it wasn't because they didn't make you feel that way. It was just because that's, you held them in high regard. And I think one of my first camps in at Coffs Harbour, I was rooming with Greegs. Like we had sort of like those shared apartments. So you go in and my room's on this side, and Greegs had the kitchenette and whatever. And I don't know if you remember, Greegs, but I missed my flight to my first Wallaby camp. And so I was a little bit worried about like missing my alarm and stuff to getting up in the mornings and whatever. And Greegs invited me over for dinner, and he was going to cook me up a pasta, and we sort of sat down just one-on-one having a meal. And, and it was one of those things. I'm like, shit, I'm sitting across it was like I was on a nervous date type thing. And, but then afterwards, Greegs asked me if I'd like an affogato. And I was like, yeah, I'd love an affogato. I had no clue what an affogato was. And at this point, I wasn't even a coffee drinker. And as we know,
that
it's
changed.
the espresso on the vanilla ice cream. And I just because I'd never been a coffee drinker. Once I went to bed that night, excuse me, my voice is going. But once I went to bed that night, I just was staring at the roof, like the coffee had absolutely hit me. And then I think I got to sleep at about 3, 4 in the morning. And then my alarm went off, and I was like, because then I just didn't want to be late the next morning because I missed my flight. Sorry, guys, my voice is going. But it was one of those ones where you could always talk. Like, it always made you feel welcome, but you also were just so nervous about what to say or when to say something,
More the influence that Greegs had on me was more not the nerves of talking or not talking. It's more about the standards. There's centres of excellence. He was the centre of excellence. He'd walk into a room and all of a sudden people are finishing their reps or, communicating rugby messages or, hitting some technique in the gym because Greegs was the standard. It was like, and he still has the influence. We were at establishment after the game on the weekend. I was sharing a couple of drinks with yourself, KB, Bernard, and Luke Jones, a couple of the old rugby boys. And Greegs walked in. And I was just straight out of my chair, ready to say hello to the governor. There's certain guys that still have an influence, Hey, what was that?
You're dreaming.
But, some people can still kind of have that. It's just like the impact they have.
Gits?
Greegs was unreal for me. He welcomed me in. Even when we were in Canberra, I'd go around to his house with the family. He'd cook me up meals. And, I think the part around speaking or we always had that avenue to talk if you wanted to. But my mindset, I don't know how the other fellas feel, but for me, it'd be like, what am I going to say that Greegs wouldn't know, really? Like, what am I going to say that is actually going to be about the game or about training or about anything? What can I actually teach him? So for me, you sit back and you want to learn as much as you can. Even through my kids, like my older son does a lot of shit wrong, but the younger ones feel like that's the standard. So it was similar in that rugby environment. You come in, I'm just trying to learn. Even after training, Greegs would hang around and trigger. Or Bernie would get in and do extra weights, and he was already playing for the Wallabies. I'm talking about when I was at the Brumbies. And I'm thinking, why does he need weights? Like, he's already in the Wallabies. Like, just so if he's doing weights, then I've got to do weights. If Greegs doing triggering or stretching, then I need to do that. So they just set a really good example. Gave us, obviously, that avenue to talk, but I never would. But, as far as welcoming me in, when I didn't really know anyone, because I was picked from club footy, Greegs was unreal for me.
Yeah,
there you go,
that's
Greegs.
very nice. My memory of Gits, and particularly these boys coming in, was just their energy at training, which I think it doesn't matter if you speak to any player who's been in a team or an environment for a long period of time, and you can sometimes get comfortable with what you know. And when you have this next group coming through, and I'm talking about the Georgie Smiths, there's the late Dan Vickerman, God rest in peace, and you boys coming in, there's an enthusiasm and energy and a hunger to learn, but also to get stuck into, and we do one-on-ones, and trying to tackle gets one-on-one it was hard, and it made you better. So it's a flip side to it as well. I think that's what's really important in all teams. And feeling comfortable, then showing the skill set. I reckon I would have said to all of you, I said, don't be too eyes up and thinking you don't belong here. You're in the Wallabies or in the Brumbies because you can play. So just train and play how you are, because that's who you are. Yes, you'll learn more along the way, but don't lose sight of the skill sets that you have. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that environment. It's pretty simple. That's it. And so everyone who we played with, they were all good, really good. And that next level of getting better, it's not always, there's no real shortcuts on it, but it's just doing little things pretty consistently, which I think all of these guys know. We all know that there's no secrets. That's it.
Well, Greegs, here's your chance to pick your favourite, basically. So we play a game on the show. You might have seen it. Bench one, start one, drop one. And people struggle with this, but I get the feeling you might struggle more than most. So you got to pick one of these boys to start, one of them to be benched, and one of them's not even on the bus.
What do you mean? So one's a double dirty.
Double
You're
dirty,
talking on tour?
Yeah.
Yep,
Wow.
we got a starter, finisher.
What's the conditions?
There's no conditions.
Oh, well, you see, that's it. So it's a perfect day. So we're in Valhalla here.
Yeah, mate,
Is that what
roof's
we're talking
closed.
about? It's a perfect world. Well, gosh, that's sitting on the fence. I don't want to have any of you on the 23, but I've obviously got a big soft spot for all three of you gentlemen, having had so much shared experience going back from 2002 with you, Giddy, to 2000 and when did you rock up?
I was
Swoop
2004.
to the Brums,
and then
2004 to Wallabies.
Yeah, I
You came to
was Brums
too.
2004, debuted 05 in Subi.
Yeah,
I remember when he came in the Brums, because he did running, and you're like, oh, look at his gait. Look how well he moves.
He runs across the ground. Yeah. He doesn't run on top of it. He runs across it. That's Swoop, and he could step and not change speed. So, and Drew with his swoops, the running right to left, he could run like a gazelle, right hand fend. Left
Don't
foot
let me
exit.
agree to talk about me.
Giddy, but Giddy, you could do everything. You could play 9, 10, 12 if you need to go on the wing. Wouldn't have put you in the back row, but I think you would have covered most positions in the back line, as were you, Swoop. So if I'm going for that, that's where Drew, I know you could do back three. I couldn't see you playing. I couldn't see you playing 12. Couldn't see you playing 10. I could see Swoop playing 12, 13, 14, 15. So here's me getting. I'm being quite being quite Coach Belichick here. So
Who's your
you can
Tom?
do your job, but because of that and because of the schematics and the way I want to play, no, I'd have to have Drew not in the starting squad. I'd be benching.
Essentially,
I'm benching you, AAC, and you will have a huge impact wherever you come in. All three of you would have, but Giddy got to start just because of that.
Thank you, Greg. See,
playmaker, and that's a playmaker with me. I've got a conscious bias towards people that get their hands on the ball a bit more. This bloke's had his hands on the ball, so there you go.
Certainly has.
And
Love it.
I can.
I feel for you, Drew.
No, it's okay.
I feel for you, AAC. But that's where I'm going.
That's the best.
But I love
answer
you all.
Yeah,
I love
we've
you
had
all,
on that
brothers.
ever.
If I could give you a big hug, it's here. It's here.
Thanks, mate.
Greg's, best dance we've ever had. Most well thought out one.
Really the easiest dropping I've ever had too.
Yeah, you feel good now.
Yeah. I would have been happy with anything from Greg.
Greg's, thanks so much for joining us, mate. At a big time for Australian rugby. I guess we'll chat to you again soon.
Real soon, guys, and let's go Wallabies this weekend and keep up the good work, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Great to see you.
There you go. So interesting to see you three when there's a figure in your life that you respect so much, because I see so much disrespect from you three all the time.
That's exactly what it is. He still holds
Yeah.
not a lot of power, but some power.
Yeah.
It still influences today. And then that just comes out of not fear, but respect. Actually, fear.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
There's a lot of trauma there. Like those eyes, it caused a lot of trauma because you just didn't want to disappoint Greg. So, he was boss man.
Still someone now gets that you think in your head, I've got learnings from, and you think, oh, what did Greg say in that moment?
Well, even there, you kind of forget, like when he was captain, those little moments on games, like, don't bend. You can bend, but don't break in tough moments. Stay strong when you're in top, when you're up. Stick the knife in. Really go for it, because even that 3-set analogy, like tennis, you never used that back in the day, but that's something where it's resonated again. I'm ready for the classics. I'm ready to roll.
How incredible is his recall? Like,
Yeah.
even he was talking about games, and this game was against Wales, and this year and that. Like, it's incredible when someone's just got that ability to recall different games, different years, different oppositions, locations, all of that.
He also looked after himself a lot when he was playing. So each game was like his week, whereas yours would be you'd recall the night out after the game,
Yeah.
probably more so. But yeah, he man still looked phenomenal. He looks
He hasn't
about
aged
18.
a day.
Yeah, Greegs and I would have very different books if we were to write a book.
Whose would sell better? Different.
Greeks had one. Greeks wrote a book.
Yeah, right.
It's probably on the
He's
shelf
winning.
right here behind us. Is it there? No.
I couldn't write a book.
Just get AI.
I'd bring too many down.
Oh, I see. So yours would sell better. All right. Hey, it's time once again to take a look at a few stats from that game on the weekend, thanks to Active Ops Stats. So some really telling stuff here, guys. Efficiency, red zone efficiency, average points per entry. So as you saw, yes, as much as the Wallabies, we felt like they were attacking a lot more, the points they scored once they got into the red zone were a lot less. So 3.3 for the Wallabies every time they went in, 4.8 for the Lions.
Yeah.
So a lot easier for them once they got in.
I mean, look, 3.3 to test level is still pretty good. To each time get down there and average that. But 4.8 is incredible. Like, that's some good numbers. So it speaks to their efficiency, but also speaks to our inefficiency in those areas in defence. So that's certainly an area where Wallabies need to improve this week. I think what they need to do is they made big improvements from the first game to second game. Maintain those, but now look at these types of areas now to make that little bit extra improvement in them.
The other one that I really liked was, and we discussed this last week, the ruck speed was between 3 to 5 seconds to get the ball out. This week, 0 to 3 seconds, 59% of the time. So you can see how it's sped up.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Greegs speak about Jakey Gordon getting out because of that, right? Because they're on the front foot, getting 1.5 metre aid line each time. All those types of things means quicker ruck speed and then bigger impact from your halves.
Well, on the 22 efficiency though, I didn't think that was overly surprising. Like watching the game, you kind of felt that way. Like when they went in, the Lions often looked threatening in all areas. Like you're trying to scan defensively for our boys to look, and it's like there were a lot of options that they had in attack. So that wasn't overly surprising.
Last one I got for you is Wallabies kick the ball once every 8.8 passes. This was about 35% less than the performance in Brisbane. So kicking it less and kicking it at the right time.
Yeah, and kicking for outcome.
Yes.
Decision making around when they kick, what type of kick, and how frequently they kick. Well, the Lions, I believe, kicked more frequently. It's like one every
definitely.
five passes.
5 passes.
Yeah.
That's interesting, Gits.
Even watching that, it felt that way. Like they'd look to bomb either liner when he was at the back. Like it seemed like a real specific game plan. They didn't play as much in their half.
Yeah. So I just think sometimes the dialogue last week is, the Wallabies kick too much, whereas it's, the Lions kick more.
Yeah.
They were just kicking better. Like they're more efficient with their kicking. So, Wallabies were again better at it, than from first week to the second.
Absolutely. Telling stats shows improvement in that Wallaby side. All those stats thanks to Active Ops, the official analytics partner of the British and Irish Lions Tour. There you go. Very, very telling stats. And it should help you make a few decisions this week when you are placing a little bet on. Here is it's the head-to-head brought to you by Tab, who's also sponsored the show this year. Take a look at this. The Australians have, narrowed it in.
Shortened,
thank you, to $3.10, while the Lions, they've blown out to $1.34. That's the head-to-head.
blown out, yeah.
Is that not blown out?
I mean, it's the terminology, but yeah.
What
It's
were
a
they
blowing.
last week?
Yeah,
It is a blowing.
Yeah.
they're real rough at the moment. Eh?
Good luck to them with those odds. The line, it's only
7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Gits, you love a line.
Yeah. I 7.5. I think that's juicy. That's nice.
That's real nice.
Juicy odds all around. And the Aussies, they'll surely want to jag one,
Oh,
although
yeah.
they've lost the series.
they still got plenty to play for. They don't want to get done 3-0. They want to prove themselves right as opposed to proving all those north of the border that said they shouldn't have toured down here and it's going to be a whitewash and all the rest of it. So plenty to play for.
Absolutely. And that same game multi, how close did we get? We had Bobby Valentini, who did not score, unfortunately. Total points went well over 50.5.
So we didn't get that either.
No. We got one. We hit the line.
I know.
Yeah,
Forgot
right.
Which was a 12.5 start, was it?
It was, yes. So well done to us. 1 out of 3. Ain't
Yeah,
bad. We will have a KOKO same game multi again. This time you've got to get it at the Coogee Bay Hotel. We'll be down there on Saturday at 10 a.m. These tab shows have been going out.
Yeah, they've been great. Yeah.
Going really well.
Yes, get to Coogee. It's going to be an absolute
Belter.
all righty, punters. If you're visiting Australia from overseas, Tab has you sorted this British and Irish Lions tour for all your punting needs. Download the Tab app today for all the latest British and Irish Lions tour odds and same game multi-markets. If you're heading into one of our iconic pubs to watch the games, look for one with a Tab area where you can use the terminals to place your Line Series bets.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
All that's left to plug is our live show again at Luna Park. Gosh, 3 tickets left. That's amazing. We will be dressed by MJ Bale there. They dress, and I believe this is a bit of a. I've got a really fancy outfit for this last one.
You do. You are fancy, aren't you? This one.
It's like a velvet purple, a crushed purple sort of tuxedo. Did you guys get all one of those? Was that?
No. Yeah, I think we all got the same one.
Now, if anybody wants tickets to the third test today course this Saturday.
Oh, wow. There's still some available.
Yes, MJ Bale are giving away 2 tickets. I hope I'm reading this right. Our mates at MJ Bale, they've got the last 2 tickets to give away. Be down at Customs House, Circular Quay this Thursday, 31st of July, between 7:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. to scan the QR code and go in the draw to win tickets. The 2 tickets should be pretty easy. Look for the Vespa riders wearing tuxedos.
Oh, these things here, yeah.
These guys here, Tommy's just popped it up. If you're listening, go on and have a look. You got the chance to win 2 tickets to that third test, which will be absolutely epic. Gents, we had so much to talk about, so we have gone long, but we need to touch on the Wallaroos and Wales.
Oh, yes.
Sadly, the girls went down 21-12 at Ballymore. This was their second last game before they go into that World Cup. Drew.
Yeah, so they play this Friday night at North Sydney Oval. So get out there and support the girls as well against Wales. So even all you Lions supporters, you NHLs, get out there and support your Welsh ladies and also watch them take on the Wallaroos at North Sydney Oval. I believe it's 7 p.m. on Friday night. It's the last game for, I think, both of them before they head over to the World Cup. So plenty to play for and be some great footy and important for our girls to get a win before they head off to the World Cup.
And on that, it's going to be the strongest squad for the Wallaroos. I think they gave the game in Ballymore, they gave a couple of squad members an opportunity to play and impress. But I think this team will be our strongest squad that we're going to send to the World Cup. Well, the strongest 15, I believe. Very
good. So make sure you get there and support them. Now, there is some merch available, as I've said. We've got the new hats, if you can see that. I am also sporting the new KOKO hoodie, which is very good on the back. It's got the tour dates for the tour down under that was the Lions tour. So please get on our website and buy those. Also, there is the Budgie Smuggler collab, which was the Lion Tamers shirt, the Wallaby Wallopers, also the Budgie Smugglers that you guys designed, and the Wallaby Fleeces. Get on there, get on the Budgie Smuggler website and buy as much as you can and keep supporting us and keep supporting Australian rugby. Gents, how good is Guinness? It's the best sponsor in the world.
It is. It is a lovely game for a Guinness.
It is. It is a lovely game for a Guinness, and long may they sponsor us. It's been a fantastic collab with them. All that's left to say, I've said that a few times. I'm going to say it again. Follow us at Kickoffs and Kick-Ons. That's everywhere. Get on, buy tickets to our shows, and look what we like to do. Every time we go anywhere, we have a little travel. We bring a little videographer with us, and it's a bit of a travel diary. Melbourne's the same. We've shot what we did. I hope the edit's kind to all of us. Yeah. I don't remember there were certain places the camera wasn't. Is that right, Bailey? Terrific. Bailey's great at that. Enjoy the Melbourne carnage, and we'll see you next week. KOKO!
felt really good in the warm-up, and then just tightened right up. That's what I do for the jersey. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
It's very real. It's very real. That's good. Get around, see a couple of boys I haven't seen in a long time. And you see Dan Bigger pulled out? That was my whole inspiration.
Look at this old thing.
Yeah, no, we're receiving, going left to right.
I actually have got no idea. Didn't even win the toss.
Tonight, boys, tonight we get to make more memories. Tonight, we get to disrespect them. And tonight, we get to be the heroes.
It's got in space, and I told myself, if you get in space, don't go for it. And I just couldn't help myself.
Little shiner on your forehead.
This one here, that makes it look like I did something. Perfect. As you can see, a lot of red jerseys. The same jersey, bit on the nose. There's a couple of bits of gold, but this is what's special, right?
Easy as that. I was only planning on playing the first 40, but then I looked up the clock with 20 gone, and I was cooked. So I was like, okay, well, I need to come off. And then I was like rolling on and off. Then I said I got a sore calf. Smart. Didn't want to be like Drew. Didn't want to get into open.
Here we are.
So it's over here, mate.
Oh, good. That's why I'm here. Why am I shaking your hand?
So, Melbourne, fan zone this time. Fed Square. Lots of Lions fans are about to go on stage up there. Boys are here. They're ready to go. Look at them.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Mate, where we are, we're at the Village Bell Hotel. Beautiful place here in St Kilda. Your son's going to be filthy, you've got his eye out.
I told my missus not to tell him.
Hello and welcome to Kick-Offs and Kick-Ons, the KOKO Show. Why are they allowed to put 4 countries together to play against one?
Everyone can do that. Oh, is this it? Yeah, so that's it. Oh, yeah, that's the one.
Yes! Got his seat. Look at you coming. Get in there. No worries.
Biv's okay, he's there. Swoop's over there, can you show him? He's just getting ready for the show. He's just going through his lines. So we've got to try and entertain 7,000 British and Irish Lions fans who basically want to boo us. Game time, it's Saturday night, game 2, we need a win, we need a Jagger win.
Tick. Well done, boys.
Well done, boys.
Did
Been a
very
pleasure.
well.
Another great week.
One to go.
See you guys.
Cheers. KOKO.
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 Oh, wow. That is the best video on YouTube. You know what you need to do now? You need to like and subscribe down there. Or if you want extra content, might be down there, you need to go up here or up here and get more of that gear. Thanks for supporting Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, and we will see you very soon.